Hey everyone, this is Lucid. I'm going to be doing another Let's Play with the nation MA-Agartha. The game is called A Wrinkle in Time, and I'm hosting it with a few mods on. Um, I've got Lucid's Thematic Gem Gen, which is a mod I made that creates temporary gem generating items like Fire in a Bottle or Clam of Pearls. I have it in all my games, and it's pretty well balanced for multiplayer. And then I have Worthy Heroes, which is pretty ubiquitous in most every Let's Play. I mean, in most every multiplayer game. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through first the troops, the national troops and summons, and then I'm going to show you, based on that, what my pretender design is. So, here we go. I have a test game made just to showcase what we have. Okay, so here we go. If we go through the national roster, you have scouts. Nothing to say here. Your particular Agarthan scouts have mountain survival, which is nice. Actually, maybe that's common to all of them. I can't remember. They do have dark vision. Cave captains, 80 leadership, which is pretty damn good. So can't complain. They only have 50% dark vision. You have troglodyte trainers who have Beastmaster and Taskmaster, which means combined you'll give a +4 morale bonus to troglodytes, which is what these units are made to carry. But you only have 20 leadership, which means you'll be taking a -1 penalty, so it turns out to be a +3 penalty. I mean, a +3 bonus. These are the units down here. We'll get to them in a minute. That they're meant to. Actually, we'll do them right now. So they're 50 gold, limited recruitment, 5 a turn. They're slaves, which is similar to being sacred in that they require half the upkeep. So that's cool. So they only have the upkeep of a 25 gold unit. But they're pretty damn expensive. You can imagine certainly some situations where you'd want to use them. They're size 4 though, so you only get 1 per square. They tend to have high attrition during initial expansion, but they also cause a huge amount of damage. So with very few resources, you can imagine you would want to recruit some high-impact units quickly. If you have a surplus of gold, these can be great to fit that bill. And they do a pretty sizable job trampling cavalry or humans. Anyway, then we have our Pale One Captain with only 60 leadership, so that's only 2 squads with 0 morale bonus. But they're amphibious, so there will be a use for these guys. And then you'll be able to recruit these in any cave province you own. You have Attendant to the Oracles, which are very cheap, 45 gold, H1 priests. So pretty economical there. Otherwise, not much good to say about them. What else? We have our Earth Readers, who are... what can we say about them? I like to use these guys for initial expansion instead of the attendants for the oracles. These guys will cast their bless because we're going to be using bless troops, and then they tend to run into battle and die even if you put them on hold. These guys will sit in the back and cast earth shards. They're also fortune tellers, but not very good ones. Fortune teller 3. So if you have 10 or 12 of these in an important province, you will usually prevent some bad events. Finally, yeah, they're good researchers. With being sacred, if you take magic scales, they're pretty good. With only 7 research, if you don't take magic scales, like if you take drain scales, you're not going to want to recruit these guys. But if you take magic scales, they're pretty cost efficient. Then we have these guys. These are your kind of workhorse mage. These are your best non-cap only mages. They have the very rare fire water cross path, which is good for a few things. Rune Smashers is one. All of the acid spells. Yeah, so they're pretty solid. You can get up to water 3, fire 2 pretty easily, and then with fire 2 you can get up to fire 3 in battle. Just with what paths your nation has. Earth 2, you can get pretty high in this too. So these are pretty good workhorses. They can do a lot of work. If you go with a drain strategy, where you take drain instead of magic, these are probably going to be your go-to researchers too. They can better suffer a drain scale. Um, you have Ancient Lords. These are 80 leadership, +1 inspirational. So you're going to be getting +2 leader or +2 morale to units that are commanded by this guy. Not, they've got a lot of HP, but they're not really a very good thug chassis. They will tend to get rocked. So, then we have the Oracle of the Ancients. This is where your money's at. These guys are awesome. Holy 3 Priests, so that's cool. Earth 3, Death 1. And then you have a cross path for Fire, Water, Earth, or Death, with a 10% chance of getting another one, which is quite rare. Yeah, the Water one gives you the Water Death cross path, but at a low level, so it's not super useful. Fire is nice. It opens up things like Magma, Eruption, and other stuff, which, by the way, your other non-cap only mage can do. Earth is nice. Earth 4 is pretty common. You'll have a lot of Earth 4 guys. And Death 2 is nice. That allows you to climb up the Death tree. Yeah, these guys are pretty good. Notably, they're cold-blooded. So, if you take a cold Dominion, they tend to kind of get owned. They're good Fortune Tellers. Fortune Teller 10. And they're inspirational also. So these are pretty good to command your troops. In terms of your troops, you have a lot of these are your only map move 2. Most of your troops are map move 1. And these guys are all around mediocre. They're kind of just normal infantry. I think these have dark vision though. Yeah, they have 50% dark vision. All your humans have 50% dark vision. These are a little better, 15 protection, 14 defense, otherwise quite normal. These are 18 protection, which is quite high, 13 defense. These are definitely usable. You can use them. Then you have your pale ones, which typically have higher HP, but significantly worse attack and defense, which is usually not a good trade. Because not only will you be doing less damage, but you will be taking many more hits. They are amphibious, though. Then you have these guys, the pale one soldiers. Again, amphibious. You have a siege bonus of 2, as you do on all of your pale ones, which is quite nice for cracking forts. You have these guys who are kind of your better. These are, if you want to recruit anybody, they're a little more expensive at 13 gold, but they have significantly better defense, and they have decent protection, and they get this castle defense bonus. So with their high strength and the castle defense bonus, they can do a pretty good job holding up fort walls. If you have 20 of these guys inside a fort, it's going to count like 60, which if you have a significantly large, if you have a good fort, which like Agartha doesn't get palisades, it's going to take enemies a long time to crack forts with 20 of these guys inside of them. So, what else? We have the troglodyte slaves, which we talked about briefly. They're kind of tactical nukes if you choose to use them. They're expensive though. Stone hurlers. These are your best siege unit. They get a 10 bonus to siege, which is huge. These guys crack things very quickly. They have standard, so they're much less likely to break. Did these guys get a standard? Oh, they do too. Maybe I should consider mixing one of these in with my shard guard. Huh. But yeah, these guys throw a boulder, which is kind of useless. It's only, what, 6? Range of strength divided by 3, and their strength is 20. Yeah. It's kind of a crappy range. Like, it's hardly any distance. So it's not really a siege. You really have to walk up right next to the wall. Yeah, these guys are really only useful for sieging. These guys are kind of the same thing. Siege bonus of 5 instead of 2. Unlike your other Agarthans, they have inspirational, which can be nice. Pretty good protection, but you will definitely, if you're going to be recruiting sacred units, they're 40 gold, which is pretty cheap, compared to this thing, which is 45 gold. Actually more expensive. Significantly less HP, so you could say, why would you recruit this guy when you could instead recruit this guy? And the answer is because let's look at these stats. 15 protection, 10 attack, 11 defense, right? Yeah. Now we'll go look at this guy, right, which is 28 HP compared to 40, so about 12 less. 1 higher defense. You get like 10 and 11. Isn't that better? No, it's the same. But most critically, these are size 3. So you can fit 2 of these per square. So they have a much higher kind of damage outlay density. If you're going against high evocation, like there's going to be a lot of AoE evocation and you don't want to have people densely pack the square, this can be a better option. Because it's kind of cheaper and it has more HP. And you're not going to have them as densely packed. But this guy with 1 10 attack for 21 damage in a square, you're not going to be doing anything. Meanwhile, this guy's doing 24 damage, and you can pack 2 of them in a square. And then on top of it, this is a magic weapon, so it's going to be much better dealing with certain kinds of thugs. And it also applies a curse, which makes it very good versus elite troops. Because the way these guys kind of work is you'll put them in, they will hold the line formation for quite some time, while they kind of sit there and pound at the enemy. So over the course of that time, even if they're regenerating, they'll get cursed and all sorts of afflictions before you kill them. So these are your national recruitable units. I tend to use Earth Readers plus Shard Guard for initial expansion. Though, actually, I'd be inclined to try... I didn't quite realize how cheap these were. I'd be inclined to try a strategy with these guys for expansion. It may be the first party, these are more efficient. But I'm not sure. Okay. Then, definitely for armies in general, you want to use Shard Guard, though. These guys are also better for sieging than these guys. These guys have a 2 siege bonus. So the argument can be made for these. In fact, I'm really thinking about that now. I know I've tested it, though. These are better units. Anyway, now we're going to get into our national units. And you can see I already have most of them summoned because I recorded this once and was like jimmy rigging around trying to get everything summoned for you. And it takes a long time. So I'll kind of expand through the indies with each of these different parties, and we'll show you how they work. So first we have your Conjuration summons. You get from Baral Pact. I'll show you the research real quick. Barthas Pact, or however you say it. 2 Earth Gems gives you 1 of these size 4 Earth Elementals. And you get this pretty early. I think it's Conjuration 4 or 3. So that's this army. You can see they're 47 HP, 8 protection, which is okay. Otherwise, decent stats, great morale, regeneration, trample. Pretty good. But this represents, like, this is 12 units, so this is 12 mage turns. So that would be 2 mages casting it for 6 months. And then, what is it? 24 Earth Gems. So we'll see how well that does. Was that this guy? We'll go ahead and have him up here and attack the Tramplers. The next Conjuration one I'll show you is this one, where you get the Great Olm, or the Olm Sage. So this guy can cast it because it's a Water-Earth Crosspath. And it's Olm Conclave. And for 20 gems, you get 1 Great Olm, and then 10... Or you get 1 Olm Sage and 10 Great Olms. So that is these guys. These are the Great Olms, so they're Mind Blasters. And they're sacred. So they will sit in the back and snipe, and then you have a Water 2 Mage, which is your only way to break into Water 2. And Water 2 is the key path that lets you get up to Water 4. Because with Water 1 you can get bracelets, and then with bracelets you'll be Water 3, and then you can forge the Robe of the Sea, etc., and you will be a Water 4. So, anyway, we'll have that army expand up here. Then, the next one I'll show you is we get Row Pact, which is you get a ton of chaffy kind of... These are kind of also like tactical nukes. For 2 Fire Gems, you get 5 Magma Children. So we'll show you Magma Children if you haven't seen them. They're these guys. They have a Heat Aura of 3, and they also have Fire Shield for 8 AP damage. So they don't have great protection, and they don't have great stats. And they do have firepower. So this would be an argument for running Heat Scales also, if you want to rely on these guys. Which you definitely could, because with Heat 3, their stat lines stop sucking, right? They're going to be at 10 defense and 12 attack, which is not bad. They're not ethereal or anything like Fire Elementals, though. So anyway, we'll send these guys. Actually, should we do them in separate armies? Why do I have them in the same? Do these guys here, and then we'll put these guys here, and then we'll give him a Divine Bless and cast spells. So this army, whoops. God, I can't even click them. Okay, this army is going to expand out this way. Next, we're going to show you our enchantment summons. Oh, I'm missing one. I think this guy has them. No? Sandheart. Okay, we also have Shard Rites, which are going to come clear this province out for me. These are very mage efficient, but they take a ton of death gems. So, oh, I didn't show Umbrals. Maybe I can summon them. So for, you get 5 plus 1 per path, and it costs 15 death gems, so it's about 5 per. And you get these guys, who are amphibious, undead. They have a chill aura, which is nice. High HP, decent stats, good protection. They're solid units. For early in the game, 10 of these guys, if you cast it twice with 30 death gems, it's a big investment, but that can turn the tide in a battle for sure. So there's definitely an argument made to use them. So they'll be taking this back. They should be able to take that back from the villains. If you come back up here, then we'll send a couple armies to expand down here in the turn following. I should... Which one are you? Okay, this is... Okay, we're going to do my enchantment schools real quick. Okay, so for enchantment, you get Attentive Statue. For 2 Earth Gems, you get 2 of these guys. And these are not sacred. Most of your statues are sacred. These are not. They do benefit from... Agartha has this... I should have mentioned this at the beginning. As part of your national thing, you get increased HP based on your Dominion score, which will... It's calculated based on the province you start in. So if you start in a high Dominion province and you move to a lower Dominion, you will be moving with higher HP than normal. They have okay HP, but great protection. 22 is high enough. When you get to 22... lots of attacks which previously would deal damage will deal no damage or very little damage. And then with Slash and Pierce resistance, it's a further cut. And then they have better attack and defense than your national units. So these are pretty solid. You get these very early. I think it's Enchantment 1. And you can easily get 10 of these out. Not easily. You can get 10 of these out in the first year, which, depending on what your opponent is fielding or what, you may even still be able to conquer indies with these. You can summon these so quickly. So we are going to send these guys down here, and then the turn after they will expand. Then I'm going to show you this guy. The next unit we get is Sentinels. And they cost 3 Earth Gems per one that you get. But these are much better. They're 35 HP, so significantly more than the statues. We have the same 22 protection. We have very similar traits down here. All of your statues also get a patrol bonus. This guy gets 10. I think your Attentive Statues get 5. But these guys are sacred, which is most important. They have actually not as good attack and defense. But being sacred is going to be huge, because that means they can now take an Earth and Nature Bless. They can take a Water Bless, which is great on Encumbrance 0 units. Just super solid. These guys are amazing. One of the best summons in the game. So this guy, let's go ahead and set him up in a line, and we'll just give him Divine Blessing, and he will come down here. Actually, we're going to send him up here. I'm going to put these guys in the back. We're just going to put these guys on Guard Commander for now. Okay. That way they don't participate in this fight and you'll get to see the other army, but then the turn after you will get to see them in all of their glory. And then finally, the biggest unit you get as a troop is these Granite Guards, right? They cost 12 Earth Gems for 1 normal troop. So let's see what kind of troop we get. You get these guys who are 100... Actually, they're 75 HP. Sorry, some of the stats I was reading off are higher because I didn't realize I was actually in Friendly Dominion. So they're 75 HP, 22 protection, again 12 attack, 10 defense, not great. High strength, pretty decent weapon. Critically though, they're size 4, which means you only have one of them per square. So your damage outlay is actually going to be better with these Sentinels, because you'll have 2 of these per square, and they'll be doing 23 per attack, which you definitely would almost want in any circumstance aside from the Guardian. But if you're dealing with like big evocations or something like that, which is not Gift of Heaven, then you may want to put these guys in a square, because these will be almost impossible to take down with normal, enormous evocation damage. They're going to be healing 10 HP a turn, and they're going to be essentially impossible to kill. Though you certainly can gear up thugs specifically for that purpose. And then finally we have a Marble Oracle, which is 35 Earth Gems. I think it's enchantment 6 is when it gets unlocked. Yeah. And this is super effective. Very gem efficient. The only problem is you have such good other uses for Earth Gems that once you can get Hall of Statues where you get Sentinels out, you'll tend to want to do that instead. But these guys are very, very useful. Let me go ahead and take the armor off of them. So with these guys, they have 22 armor like before. They have 85 HP. They're kind of like a Marble Guard, a little better. But they're a commander, and they're holy too, so they can self-bless. Otherwise, their stats are basically the same. But importantly, this protection is natural protection. So you can see we can get it up to 30 real quickly by just putting normal armor on him. And we will have this guy come over here, and he will expand up here later. So we're just going to put him on cast spells. We're not going to have him go into combat. And you, sir... we don't have anything for umbrals. Maybe I'll get lucky. We'll go ahead and get penumbrals. Hopefully you've all seen umbrals. I'll show you penumbrals next turn. Okay, so let's just see how these troops do in battle. I think this was our Shard Whites. Okay, you can see they're taking a little damage. They're mostly immune to archer fire though. So quite effective. And these are all things. Conjuration, you can get a lot of these out really early if you so desire. Okay, and you can see that was effective. They got mind blasted and then trampled. Not a good way to go. And I believe this one is my Shard Guard. So you'll see these guys... oh, they didn't even die. Huh, I thought I would lose some Magma Children. I think we were lossless, though. Okay, so you've seen them all expand. Maybe we'll send these guys up here. That'll be kind of interesting. Here I will show you the Sentinels. So they will expand up this way. We'll show you the... whoops. Let's give the Sentinels something kind of hard. We'll give them Heavy Cavalry. We'll just see how they hold up against... whoops. Heavy Cavalry. We'll see how they hold up against them. And then we'll send a Marble Guard versus a lot of chaff. We'll give them a Blessing and a Holy Avenger and an attack. And you'll get to see how they perform. And you, sir. These are our Attentive Statues. These are the unit you can get pretty early. The risk here, I don't want to go against the Zots. They may jump on my Preacher, and it will not look well. Cavemen actually are going to beat them up too. We'll have to go versus the Zots. The Zots are going to jump on me. So we're just going to have them Guard Commander, and we're going to have them Iron Skin, and then cast spells, something like that. Hopefully the Zots don't kill him. So I think that's it. We have penumbrals here. I'll show you these. Umbrals are slightly bigger versions. They're size 5, I think, instead of 3. They have 60 HP instead of 20. They have higher strength, but basically these are 0 protection but ethereal units with low defense. and they have Life Drain. So they benefit from protection and defense buffs. If you can give them both quickness and Iron Skin, like Iron Warriors, they become very, very strong. And they're actually usable easier with other Agartha nations than this one, because the only guys who can really carry these around are your cap-only mages, who usually you don't want to have as little thug raiding parties. But the other versions of Agartha, you can usually carry these around with them anyway. So I think that's it. We'll show you this final one. Some of the battles we didn't see before. So this is the Zots versus our Attentive Statues. These are the units you can get super early. Okay. You can see they killed my commander, which is why you don't do that. You have to be really careful versus Zots expanding. And a lot of times, like in this map, it's very easy to expand. There's a lot of Zots in the caves. But those guys would have wrecked the Zots if my commander didn't die. Okay. Effective. Actually, let's watch that again. You'll just see the cavalry do nothing when they attack. It's kind of like there's nothing to see, so you didn't see anything. But just watch them come in. Nothing. Very, very hard to kill these guys. And here is round 2 with these guys. You can see the Magma Children are very efficient. Versus heavier infantry, you'll tend to lose some. I don't think I lost any there. Okay, I lost 1. But they do a ton of damage. And then finally, what is this? This is our Granite... No, this is... Oh, we didn't see our Granite Guard fight, but that's okay. So now what you see. This is our little Marble Oracle Thug. You see, they can't really hurt him. So he can just sit there all day doing this. No afflictions or anything, still very high HP. Okay. So that's basically the nation and the troops. And I hope you're excited about this new Let's Play. So I will see you guys in Initial Expansion for the real multiplayer game next episode. Thanks everyone for watching.